Have you ever replied to a text and then spent the next 20 minutes wondering if you sounded weird? Like, you typed "sounds good," and now you're staring at it thinking, was that too many exclamation points? Did I seem fake excited? Should I have just said okay? Meanwhile, the other person already put their phone down and forgot you exist. That's overthinking. And here's the wild part. Your brain isn't broken when this happens. It's actually doing exactly what it was built to do. It's just doing it in the wrong century. Stick around, because by the end of this, you're going to understand why your mind does this to you, and more importantly, how to make it stop hijacking your peace. So why does this matter? Because overthinking isn't just an annoying habit. It's quietly running the show in a lot of your life. That relationship you didn't start because you imagined every way it could go wrong? Overthinking. That email you rewrote 6 times before sending? Overthinking. That night you lay in bed replaying a conversation from 3 years ago for absolutely no reason? Yep, same culprit. It eats your time, your sleep, your confidence, and sometimes your opportunities. And almost everyone does it. So let's actually break down what's happening in your head when this hits. Okay, part 1. What is overthinking really? Overthinking is your brain trying to solve a problem that doesn't need solving anymore, or hasn't even happened yet. It loops. It replays. It rehearses conversations that never took place. It's like a movie stuck on repeat, except you're both the director and the terrified audience. Psychologists call one version of this rumination. That's the replaying the past kind. And there's another version called anticipatory anxiety. That's the worrying about the future kind. Overthinking usually bounces between both. Past regret, future fear, and almost never the present moment. Here's a simple way to picture it. Imagine your brain is a security guard. Its job is to scan for danger. Normally, it checks the room, sees nothing's wrong, and relaxes. But overthinking is like a security guard who checks the room, finds nothing wrong, and then checks it again, and starts imagining threats that aren't even in the room yet. That guard isn't lazy. It's actually working too hard. Which brings us to the real question. Why would your brain evolve to do this? Let's go back. Way back. Like, cave person back. Imagine you're an early human, thousands of years ago. You hear a rustle in the bushes. Your brain has 2 options. Option 1. Assume it's just the wind, relax, and move on. Option 2. Assume it might be a predator, replay the sound in your head, imagine worst-case outcomes, and stay alert. Now here's the catch. If you guess wind, and it's actually a wind, great, no cost. But if you guess wind, and it's actually a tiger, you're gone. Game over. No more genes passed on. But if you guess predator, and it's actually just wind, you wasted a little energy being paranoid. Annoying, but you survived. So evolution basically rewarded the overthinkers. The anxious, cautious, replaying every scenario humans were the ones who lived long enough to have kids. Congratulations, you're descended from history's most nervous people. Your brain still runs that same program today. Except now, instead of tigers in the bushes, it's your boss's tone in a Slack message, or a friend who didn't text back in an hour. Same fire alarm. Wildly different fire. Now let's zoom into modern life, because this is where things get kind of unfair. Back then, threats were physical and temporary. A tiger either attacked or it didn't, and then it was over. Your brain got closure fast. Today, our threats are social and abstract. Did I embarrass myself at that meeting? Does my partner still like me? Am I making the right career choice? These don't have a clear ending. There's no tiger walking away, so your brain can finally relax. The threat just lingers, which means the overthinking has nothing to close the loop. And technology made it so much worse. You used to say something awkward to a friend and maybe think about it for a day. Now you can screenshot it, reread it, analyze the punctuation, show it to 3 other friends for their opinions, and keep the loop alive for a week. Social media adds another layer. You're not just thinking about your own life. You're constantly comparing it to a highlight reel of everyone else's. That's basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for your inner overthinker. And workplaces don't help either. Constant notifications, ambiguous messages. We need to talk, texts with 0 context. Modern life is basically designed to trigger the exact ancient alarm system that used to protect us from tigers. So here's the twist. The thing most people believe about overthinking is actually backwards. Most people think overthinking equals being careful, smart, or responsible. Like, I'm just being thorough. I'm just making sure I don't mess up. I'm just a deep thinker. But here's the truth. Overthinking isn't the same as thinking clearly. In fact, past a certain point, it makes your thinking worse, not better. There's actually research on this. Studies on decision-making show that once you've gathered enough information, extra deliberation doesn't improve your choice. It just adds stress and delay. Your brain isn't solving the problem anymore. It's just spinning the tires while feeling like it's driving somewhere. Overthinking feels productive because it's active. You're doing something. But replaying a conversation for the 10th time isn't problem solving. It's just suffering with extra steps. And here's an even bigger twist. A lot of overthinking isn't really about the actual situation at all. It's about control. When life feels uncertain, your brain thinks that if it just analyzes hard enough, it can predict the outcome and prevent pain. But you can't think your way into certainty about things that are inherently uncertain. No amount of replaying that text message is going to change what the other person meant by it. Okay, so now the part you actually came for. What do you do about it? First thing, name it when it's happening. Overthinking thrives in the dark, when it just feels like normal thinking. The moment you say to yourself, "Oh, this is a loop, this isn't new information," it loses power. You basically catch the security guard checking the same empty room for the 5th time. Second, set a decision deadline. Give yourself a real-time limit. I'll think about this for 10 minutes, then I act, or I let it go. This works because your brain stops treating the problem like it's infinite. Third, ask yourself one specific question. Is there anything new here, or am I just replaying the same thing? If there's no new information, there's nothing left to think about. You're not analyzing anymore. You're just marinating in anxiety. Fourth, get out of your head and into your body. Overthinking lives in the mind. Movement, walking, even just changing rooms, interrupts the loop because your brain can't fully spiral and focus on physical coordination at the same time. And fifth, remember the tiger. Ask yourself, is this an actual tiger, or is this just a rustle in the bushes? Most of what we overthink is rustling leaves, not predators. So here's the real takeaway. Overthinking isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that your brain is doing its ancient job in a modern world that never turns the alarm off. You're not weak for overthinking. You're just running old software on new problems. But now you know the trick. Next time your mind starts replaying that awkward thing you said, or spiraling about a decision, ask yourself one simple question. Is this a tiger, or just the wind? Because most of the time, it's just the wind. And the wind doesn't deserve your whole night.